Okay, cool. So if you could, just introduce yourself, what your name is, occupation.
Okay. My name is Dee Giffen Scott, and I'm an actor, and I'm best known for playing many alien characters on Star Trek Next Generation.
Awesome. And yeah, so if you could, just like you said, if you could do the hi, my name is, and then insert at the end, this is Citizens of the Future.
Oh,
So, like,
okay.
hi, my name is Dee, and this is Citizens of the Future.
Okay, so do I have to look in the camera and
No,
say that?
do it here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Hi there, I'm Dee Giffen Scott, and I'm a citizen of the future. That's what I'm here for. I'm also best known as Aliens because I worked as many alien characters on Star Trek Next Generation. So I have a great passion for sci-fi. I got discovered by Don Chaffee, who did Jason and the Argonauts. Spent a lot of time with Doug Drexler on Star Trek Next Generation. And also, gosh, there's a whole list of other people. John Chaffee discovered me, and he was the guy who did Pete's Dragon. He also did A Million Years BC. So I've just always had a passion for sci-fi. I've worked with, many different directors and producers doing sci-fi for 20 years. And I'm just getting back into it now. I'm going to be doing another Alien film this year, so this is exciting for me to be here and see Jacques' work. I'm just always blown away because he had such insight at such an early time, influenced so many people. Look at where we're at today and what we're doing. I mean, he is influencing a whole new generation, and he's still here, and he keeps doing it. Each generation now is getting to know him, and I think that this generation is probably in the best place for being able to utilize some of his concepts and ideas because they're already happening. I mean, for me, this is the Jetsons. I mean, this is what I grew up on. It's like so exciting to see the Jetsons in real life. Just awesome.
Love the Jetsons.
Okay.
Great. Love the Jetsons. That's awesome. That was great. That was great. Oh, that's good. So you kind of already briefly talked about your acting experience and history. Okay, cool. So that we got that. Talk about your Star Trek work. We just kind of go in depth. What was it like? I mean, just a short synopsis of what was it like to work on Star Trek?
Well, one of the working on Star Trek was really, none of us knew that it was going to be as big as it was. Okay, all of us early pioneer actors in the traditional form, like going into a studio like Paramount, not like some backlot somewhere doing some B sci-fi movie, which is still fun because I love comedy sci-fi. That's my personal joy. But it was like none of us knew what we were actually creating and what kind of impact we were making. I mean, it wasn't until for me coming back into acting after being gone for 20 years, I thought, oh my God, I got all these, I'm an intergalactic beauty, there's a fan club. It's like, wow. It's just amazing, but none of us thought of that. I mean, even the makeup guys, the hairdressers, those of us, I mean, I was a photo double for Gates McFadden. I did her second unit special effects. I worked on Search for Spock. It was exciting. Leonard Nimoy picked me out to be High Priest, one of the Vulcan maidens. I mean, there's funny stories on filming that. I mean, we were levitating Spock's body and we had this thing on our finger and it was like, it was a ring that we could levitate with. There were 6 of us and we're going down a ramp and it broke and the camera's down at the bottom and it looks like Spock's body is sliding down the ramp and smashes into the camera. And we're at like a sullen moment during his funeral, right? So that's kind of a fun moment.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's awesome. Do you know, Doug Drexler, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
So you know
did.
him?
I know him because he was a makeup artist at that time on Star Trek Next Generation. And then he used to do some, working as different characters and stuff himself. So I mean, he was pretty much sort of in the same boat that I was, but so many of my friends have just taken off and won big awards, and, and I was gone. I I was like, oh my God, I get back in the business and everybody's like famous. I mean, John England, same thing. I mean, you know, he's Freddy Krueger. Hey, listen, Don Chafee, when he was older, decided he was going to produce some stuff with Spelling Goldberg and other stuff. So he did Chips. I did an episode of Chips. And so did Robert Englund. Yeah. And we both did Married with Children. I mean, hello? You know, unusual stuff. And now they're like, oh my God, Freddy Krueger. Yeah. It's like I knew him and like, hey, let's go to the commissary and get a sandwich. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Gosh, Robert Englund, he's great. So, have you seen the documentary Future by Design?
I did.
Okay.
I did watch that.
What do you think about the technology and social aspects of Jacques' work and ideas coming from that?
Don't like to talk politics, but I must say I do love the self-sustaining stuff. I mean, it was just totally fascinating that he was creating things that could heal themselves when it comes to physical matter. I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, could you imagine not having to put a roof on your house? I mean, it just automatically fixes itself when there's a hole. I mean, stuff like that is just so fantastic and so exciting. I mean, more free time for people to be creative and do other things if the basics of survival were a lot easier.
Hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah, exactly.
What about like education and reforming culture? Like,
I think the part that I'm in agreement with on this is the fact that there needs to be people who learn the lesson of hard work, vision for artists. I like his teaching that when you have a passion in your heart for something you love, to pursue it, because that is really, and Einstein was the same way. If you love it and you're passionate about it, then you can make such a big impact on other people's lives. And being, for myself, a parent and now a grandparent, it's like I have such hope for the future because I know that letting your kids have that passion and support them in what they love. Because if they love it, they look forward to getting up every morning and doing stuff. And I can see that Jacques really loves getting up in the morning. He's 100 years old because he loves what he's doing. And he's passionate about it. And I think that was probably the most exciting part. And of course, the workmanship and the creativity. I mean, just the sheer perfection of the things he created is just amazing.
That's great. That was great. Can you talk a little bit about Forrest Ackerman?
Forrest Ackerman. Oh
his,
my God.
And his big support for Jacques.
Oh my God. Okay, so Forrest Ackerman and I actually have something in common. We're both sci-fi / comedy. Okay, you know, it just kind of merged the two together. And he's kind of wacky like I am. So it's like, he just did, you know, gathering things and having people at his house and showing all his memorabilia and all these different, and you know, all the different sci-fi people. I mean, the thing that was so exciting when I found out that Stephen King had his book that he submitted to him, because he used to be, you know, representative for science fiction writers and stuff, when he was 11. And so Forrest Ackerman came to a book signing with him and had him sign the script that he sent him when he was 11 years old. I mean, to me, that story is just awesome. Can you imagine Stephen King? Oh my God, this is like the beginning of, I mean, that's what I'm talking about with children and the next generation. How exciting for him as a writer that somebody cared enough to save his first thing at 11 that was submitted and then have him sign it as a success. I mean, there's got to be, you know, such joy and fulfillment in that concept of that actually occurring.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. Stephen King. I mean, how do you even, like the importance of that he like kept it, you know?
He kept it all that time.
Yeah.
And then knew where to get it. With all that memorabilia to dig through. Yeah. Knew exactly where to find the Stephen King 11-year-old script. It's like, God.
So, where'd you guys drive from today, and what do you guys think of the exhibit?
The exhibit's great. We drove from Clearwater, Florida area. But, you know, this is something that is close to my heart, what I'm interested in, sci-fi. I'm doing a sci-fi film later this year, Second Earth. So it's just like, this is just part of me. I mean, I could go on a gazillion interviews, but there's something about me being weird or something, or geek early on, that everybody liked. And I always got cast as aliens, so I figured I'm going with the flow. And I always loved science fiction, a big reader.
It just worked out.
It just worked out. I'm in the right genre, and I'm in the right place with the right stuff. Look at this.
Yeah.
I love this. Cybernated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
Cybernated.
how'd you first hear about Jock, and what do you know about his history?
Rob had contacted me about this, and I had actually heard of some of his stuff before, but I didn't put two and two together on who was what or whatever, because I helped when like the Tomorrowland stuff for Disney, when they were and also when they were creating stuff for Disney World in Orlando. I was involved. I mean, I was in the German Pavilion tape back in like 1977, doing Papa as a German girl, on the Disney lot. And my parents both worked in the movie industry, so I got to kind of cruise around a lot, got to see a lot of special things for all the new stuff that was going on. And it was like, I mean, I was really, pretty much blessed as a kid, because my parents were artists, they were creative, and that's why I think it's important to pass these kind of things along to your kids and their passions. And if you're an artist, I think it's really great to pass your things, because my sons, all three of them are artists, and I love it. I love it.
Yep. And it's hard, because I mean, now generations are starting to lose touch. So
yeah.
I mean, it's good that your sons, you said 3 sons?
Yes.
That they are in touch with
Oh,
that,
yeah.
this generation, not so much.
Right. No, I know.
They're starting to lose it.
No, I know. And it's
Yep.
like, we don't want to lose what we have. And this is Jock's technology needs to be moved on. There has to be people that has to be passionate about this kind of thing to actually make things happen. I mean, there's the cars over there, and they look like Jetson cars. And I just remember being so fascinated, like I said, about the Jetsons when I was a kid. And it's like, this is all now. This is all happening now. Things that were only a dream are now coming to fruition, and things are moving faster. So we're moving. We're moving into the future now.
Nope, I completely agree. Were you by any chance able to attend the 100th birthday for Jock Fresco?
No.
Or
But
did you visit the Venus Project?
No. Unfortunately not. But I would love to. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hitting my mark. Okay.
No, there you go.
Okay, so to answer your question, nope, didn't do that. But the thing is, there's a point here. He's passionate, he's doing what he's want. Time is just a consideration in a situation like that. He's 100 years old, but because he wakes up every day and he's doing something he's passionate about, it doesn't show on his body. Not like somebody's like, oh, I'm ache and pain, I hate my job. I mean, God, you're gonna hit 40 and you're gonna be like wanting to die. I mean, he didn't go that direction. And so I can totally see why somebody like him is living that long, seriously.
Absolutely. So what technologically, do you think that Jock is, I guess, what technologically drives you towards his models and concepts? Why do you think that he had so many ideas? What do you think drives him technologically?
Well, you want to start getting into my perspective of why we're here, how we're here, and all that kind of stuff. I think that he sort of has his vibrations, the way he thinks, and everything is just zoomed in on the consciousness of what's happening. He realizes that he is not a body, he lives in one. And so as a spiritual person, he's able to connect on a level and be able to get insights and pull things out because while he's here, he wants to use this body for the best he can and make as much stuff happen as he can. That's just my perspective.
No, and I think the same thing, that he is that way, and
Yeah.
he thinks that way, so that like he's not just, like you said, some person in a body who's constantly coming home and saying, "Oh, well, that was a day." He doesn't think that way.
No, he doesn't.
He comes home and thinks, "Okay, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do next?" Like,
Oh, well, I think he's probably got a list.
He's got a huge list.
He's got a huge list. He's never going to get through with it, yeah.
So, Metropolis was an inspiration for Jock. Are you able to comment on just how you think Fresco's
my
work
God.
was influenced by it?
Well, now we're getting back to my roots because I'm very much, and I always have been, into Charlie Chaplin for me, a huge fan. And as a comedian, at my time, women, even if they were attractive, weren't necessarily pushed into looking bad. Never cared. Make me the ugliest alien that ever lived. Let me create that character. Make me look ugly. Let me do weird faces. Let me be creative. And so, even though Charlie Chaplin was a guy, he was still my inspiration as an artist.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so him doing that film, I just looked at some of his, as a matter of fact, I just looked at some of his stuff last week. I was on my YouTube Charlie Chaplin entertain myself mode.
Yeah. So Jacques was very impressed with the way that planes could land on buildings in Metropolis. Like, he built some designs that had a sloped roof. What do you think about that?
I think it's just brilliant that he even thought of that. Yeah.
Just so that they could...
Yeah. No, he just had the vision and was able to see that in his mind and then be able to reproduce it in real life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So how do you think the Great Depression influenced his way of thinking? Do you think it had an influence on it?
I think it did, and I think that maybe where we part ways just slightly on some items has to do with the fact that that's the time period that he grew up.
Yeah.
That
I'm sure it had an effect on anyone.
Anyone who was at that time period would have been affected by that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Jacques' Round City, do you know about that? Where it's like controlled by a central computer. Have you heard about that? He had an idea where there'd be a round city, and it would all be controlled by a centralized computer.
Yes, I've seen that. I think that's very workable. The thing is,
problems.
The thing is, I see that concept playing out as a resort or something where people could go and have an experience. At this point, as far as a whole bunch of people living together, I'm a can I be alone sometimes kind of person. I like to create as an artist and be alone sometimes. I don't want to have everybody right there with me all the time. I like to have my space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you just, overall, what do you
There's
think of
one
someone-
more thing.
One more thing. What do you got?
One more thing. I was telling Rob the story about how we had the Borgs on Star Trek, and it was all done by men. And somebody was looking at me and said, Dee, you're an athletic dancer type body. Borgs would look really good on you. We should, and then they start talking about females to be Borgs. Of course, we're going to be, no sex. But the point is, the way that it was constructed, it had a lot of latex through the shoulders, and women don't have as much physical strength in their upper bodies. So I got to help create something that a female could wear as a Borg. And I have, got with all the tubes and all the stuff, and we created something that was like tubular around the shoulders, so that you could still function and act as an actor playing an alien. And so he just thought that was so cool. So he told me, mention that if you get a chance. So I'm mentioning it.
There you go. Awesome. Any last thoughts on 100 years?
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, and he does too. For
Okay,
sure. So now
great.
we can